Hi everyone, this is Christina within the garden, and today I'm going to try out my brand new Vego Gardens seed starting tray. I believe this is the 10 by 20 seed starting bundle. It comes with the watering tray, the cells that you're going to plant into, and right here the humidity domes. I'm going to go over the features in this particular set. I'm pretty excited to use it because, as you have seen so far, we've used several types of seed starting trays, from Epic Gardening to the ones I got, which were the Jiffy Pods up here. And then I have some Gardener Supply. Now, I do have to tell you, I do like Vego Gardens offering more than what I've received so far. And part of the reason is that I like that the humidity domes are individual. So if this, let's say this whole tray was set up, we have our seeds in it. If this particular block was to germinate, you would take this dome off, leaving the remainder. Instead, most seed starting trays come with a humidity dome to cover the entire one. And as you can see from some of my sets that I have, we have mixed germination. So I'm leaving tiny little humidity domes over sections of an area. And this really just takes that out of play and puts something smarter in individualizing these trays. I also like how durable they are. So the plastic that they're utilizing is long-term, and it's, we don't want to use plastic in our gardens, but if you can get something longer term like this so that you can use it over and over and over and over and over again, then I think that really makes a difference. Instead of short-term plastic options, these are incredibly durable. Like you could put a lot of weight on these, and not that you would need to, and they're not going to break. Also, they come with the holes in the bottom. Most seed starting trays do these days. I like the size of this one because you can easily insert your finger to pop the cell out of place. Nobody wants to try to pull their new seedling out of the tray, displacing the seedling and ultimately defeating the purpose. And so these holes on the bottom are twofold. Number one, you can push your cell up. Number two, you can bottom water. So bottom watering has a lot of benefits to it. You would water in the tray. It would leach the water up to the top of where the seedling is. Not only does that promote root growth because the roots are growing down to seek out the water, but also isn't displacing the plant when you're pouring like large amounts of water over these seedlings. Now, another thing, something very cool about these particular humidity domes that I have not seen before is that you pour the water into the center. So let me grab one of these. So you pour the water into the center. The center has a little slit and that drips into the middle. So this middle section is not a seed cell, it is a water reservoir. So it's going to go through the humidity dome, drip onto here, and leach through the corridors into the cells, which I think is pretty cool because a lot of the time what we're doing is we're spraying directly on our seedlings and it's displacing the seeds, or it's creating pockets and areas in which you don't want to have for your seed cells. And this is so much smarter and gentler. Think about filling this up, and then what happens from there is it just drips slightly out to the plants. So I think it's very cool. Another item that they have thought of is air pruning. So as you can see, there's these channels down the sides that allow air to go in and out of the plant, allowing root growth. But it also prevents the root from coming out of the cell and possibly winding itself around the seed cell tray. And so that's good for the plant so that it grows to a point where it touches the air and then it stops its growth and it'll focus the growth on another location. So I think that Vego Gardens really have thought of just about everything that I can tell. I already had purchased their toolbox kit. So on the side of my metal raised beds, I have a kit that slides right over it. You open the lid and you put your tools in. I store tools there even through the winter. mostly through the summer, so they're easy access when I'm already out in the garden and out in the field. I don't want to have to go find my tools, so I already used their toolkit container, and I loved it. They also have retractable hoses and other garden items, whether you need a trellis system or other seed starting options. This is just one of many seed starting options that they have, and I fully plan to look into the other options. Not to mention, I really do like the green. So the green is like a forest green, and typically we're seeing black cells, or, well, a lot of these actually are black seed trays. When I found the blue one from Gardener Supply, I really liked it, but it's not very gardeny. And I feel like this hunter green is probably the best color choice, I think, for gardeners if you like to have a little color and no black. So let's start setting these up. So what I'm doing at this point is I'm just setting the humidity domes aside. We're going to fill these with soil, and then what I'm going to do is start all of the seeds I wanted to start for flowers. Part of the reason I'm doing that is spring is all about gardening, but it's all about the flowers as well. A lot of flowers require you to plant them indoors and then grow them on, which means to plant them up and then let them grow a little bit longer before you put them out in your landscaping. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Let me get the soil into these blocks and I'll show you what we're going to plant, and then I'm going to show you the really handy dandy way to water all of this. So it's going to take all the thinking out of it for you. I really like this system and I can't say enough about it. Okay, we got our soil in our cells. I went ahead and labeled everything. Let me tell you what I'm planting, and I've already planted 2 of them. The scabosia is a pincushion flower, and that one's a mix, so it's probably a purple and fuchsia color. So we've got that one done. The crispidia is called a sunball. It's a flower that comes up in a long stem and has a golden ball at the end. I really love it. And then we've got some violas and marigolds. So this one is a hybrid viola and it's called Antique Shades. We're going to plant that one there. This one is a hybrid marigold called White Swan. This one over here is a viola called Frizzle Sizzle Mini Tapestry. Then we've got a hybrid viola Floral Power Plum Antique. And then Queen Sophia is a French marigold. And then this is another marigold Durango Outback mix. Now, typically a lot of these, at least the 2 I've already planted so far, most of these recommend transplanting. So you're going to want to plant them in your Vego seed starting tray. And then when they fill up that cell, it should be warm enough for us to put them outside. If it's not, we'll pot them up into the bigger cells. Vego Garden sells bigger cells that are 4 cells in each that you could pot these up into. And in the meantime, I have the 8 cells. So again, this one is the scabosia and this one is the crispidia. Let's go ahead and plant the rest of these. This is the hybrid viola. Again, transplant on this. The seeds are very tiny. And this one, like many violas or pansies or marigolds, says that if you deadhead them, they'll last longer. It's a short-lived perennial, it says. It's most likely grown as an annual. So our violas in our area 7, zone 7, are most definitely annual because they freeze. And then I'm just pushing the soil down around the seed. I did not fill up the cell path all the way with dirt. Part of the reason is that I want it to water down and into the cell, and I want to leave room for it to grow and the sides of the cell to hold the plant upright. So that's our antique viola. The next is the hybrid white swan marigold. Again, it says transplant. Let's see. It says lightly cover the seed with soil. So this seed, take a look. It's kind of like a little feather. Long little stick. So I'm going to do 2 seeds per cell to make sure that we get germination. Like I said, I have a lot of seed starting sets, so I really like this one. The color, the durability. I like that. I really like the individual humidity domes. Now, if you like these Vego Garden seed starting kits, I do have a discount code I'm going to put on the screen as well as in the description. If you go to their website and use the code, you'll get a discount on your purchase if you like these. I plan to order more as I truly do like these sets, and I probably will start, as I buy them, replacing all of my old sets as they age out. Okay. Perfect. Now marigolds, you might be growing marigolds as a companion plant. Companion plants are good for other plants to drive away pests, to promote pollinators, or to prevent certain bugs from eating your plants. So for example, marigolds, French marigolds specifically, are great around tomato plants. They drive away the pests that cause tomato plant disease. So you might use, and you can look on the back. This one is an orange marigold. It's going to be a mix. It's the Durango Outback mix. So the marigolds that people typically see are orange or yellow, but we have a marigold here that's called a white swan, which I'm really excited to see. Now I'm going to put vermiculite on top of all of these because, like I said, I didn't fill up the tray all the way for a couple of reasons. I want the open empty cell to receive the water, and I didn't want it to be too high. This one is a French marigold called Queen Sophia, and I can't recall the color, but it is called an African marigold, so I imagine that it's probably orange. So 2 seeds per cell, what I'm going for. Okay, violas left. So we have the Floral Power Plum Antique and the Frizzle Sizzle Mini Tapestry. Now, one of the reasons I'm growing both the marigolds and violas and scabosia and the crispidia from seed is I commonly buy these at greenhouses, at nurseries, I should say, and you can spend anywhere between $3 to $5 per plant. And it is so much easier just to pay that $3, maybe 5 at the most, for the seed pack and have as many as you'd like. And violas I plant a lot, and so this should save me quite a bit of money in the end. Now the viola is a more tiny rounded seed, whereas the marigold looks like a feather, a tiny feather, or a strand of grain. So it's kind of like a tiny little, I don't know, hair, kind of too thick to be a hair. Okay, these ones are super tiny. And I went ahead and poked circular holes in all of the cells. So when I'm dropping this in, I'm dropping the seed right into a seed cell hole. So inside of these cells are dirt mounds, and in the mound is a circular hole that I made. And I'm planting 3 to 4 seeds per cell. Okay. Now, like all of my other seeds, I am putting them up here in my already sown box so that if I don't get the germination I'm looking for, this box right here has all of the seeds I've sown so far this year, and it's getting pretty full. And I can come back in and re-sow any cells that did not germinate, which I've already done for some other plants as well. So let's put vermiculite in and let me show you how easy it is to water these. Keeping in mind, I did water the soil as I put the soil into the cell because I wanted it to be moist and not fluffy and ready to receive the seed. We're just putting a little bit on each. Remembering that vermiculite helps hold in the moisture, so you can water these, but you shouldn't have to water them as frequently if you have something like a vermiculite in your seed trays. Not completely covering the cell, I'm just kind of getting some across the top layer. Let's grab these watering humidity domes and carefully place them on the top of each. And your little labels can fit perfectly right into there, so no worries there. Okay. Now I think the most enjoyable part is going to come with the watering. So let me show you. The watering is going to go directly into the center of the dome. There we go. The center of the dome. In each of the center of the domes is a tiny slit that allows water to drip out. Super smart. And then all you have to do is bring your watering can in, give each one of them water, and you're good to go. What I like about these domes is the domes themselves are actually really hard plastic too, so there's no problem there. Now this water I already enriched with a fertilizer, so you're going to see that it's a little darker than normal water. And that's because it's got some liquid fertilizer in there. And as you can see right here, this one's already dripping. It drips down into the center. Oops. It drips down into the center, and then it gradually waters from the center of the cells outward to the 8 cells on the outside. And it does take it some time. Let's get a close-up. So that's dripping, dripping, dripping. Nice. And do you see how it spreads and fills up the cell and will go out to the outside? Let's go over here. Yes. Okay, let's see what's going on with this one. Ooh. Oh, there we go. That should be working now. It just needed some motivation. Just touching that little slit in the plastic. So, recapping. A couple of things you're going to want to know about these, and I'm going to read it over with you. So the Vego Garden Seedling Kit, keeping in mind, this is just one of the seed starting kits. They have multiples. So there's hassle-free watering. You don't get much hassle here at all with the overhead watering in the humidity domes. In fact, it's genius. You've got your breathable sides for your cells. And then the tray set alone is just totally made to last. I fully expect to be able to use this for years to come because it's very durable. I like the color. I like the way it's watered. I like that they're individual cells. I like that the humidity dumps are individual, so you're not having to crank off a whole upper side. In addition to that, I like that they offer discount codes. So regularly I see codes come across to my email of discounts you can receive with Vego Gardens. So I really enjoy that they're trying to promote gardening here in the US to all of us, but also get out there, use reusable items like this if you have to use plastic, and just be a part of the garden movement. Do things that bring you joy. For me, it's gardening. And these were all flowers. And these are flowers that I'll pay a lot of money for at the store that I can grow myself. So thank you, Vego Garden, for making these cool sets. Thank you for the tool set I have that's down at my shop garden. And I really hope you'll try this out. Again, this is Christina within the garden, and these are my Vego Garden cells. I've been anxious to try them out. I've had them for about a month, and I've gotten to the point where I can plant flowers, and I intended to plant the flowers in these. You can do vegetables, you can do seeds, you can do the corums like we did in our prior video. It's totally up to you. They're very versatile, and I really enjoyed using them. So thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one where we'll be inevitably planting some more seeds.